Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I attempted to do a live, but unfortunately for some reason my internet is not playing nice today, so I was unable to do that. So I still wanted to bring you the latest news that we have about Fotis Dulos. He has actually now been charged with the murder of Jennifer Dulos. So I wanted to bring you what we know, a little recap for those who don't know much about the case, and then what we learnt today. So this video is me doing a sort of live, but being a actual video. So it's going to be a little bit weird for me. I've never done something like this, but to summarize for those who don't know, on May 24th of last year, Jennifer Dulos went missing. The police were pretty on top of it straight away, and could tell that she hadn't gone missing of her own free will. There was blood in the garage as well as the kitchen sink. There were, if we will go over in another live, but we have in the past on another channel gone over and seen the arrest warrants. They were him and his girlfriend were arrested for tampering with evidence, and we can go through all of that in another live. But at the time, Fotis and Jennifer were going through a divorce, a very, very, very contentious divorce. It was getting really nasty. Fotis didn't have custody of his children. He wasn't allowed that. A month or so prior to Jennifer's disappearance, he was given supervised custody, and the weekend before or after Jennifer's death, or well, we believe death, but disappearance, he actually was supposed to have custody 8 hours each day, the Saturday and the Sunday. Jennifer went missing on a Friday. So the police have worked really, really hard on this case to try and find evidence. It's been difficult because unfortunately we don't know where Jennifer's remains are, but police do believe that Jennifer was murdered and today have charged Fotis Dulos with that. There will also another arrest and a possible arrest coming up. So let's have a look at the article for today. It says Jennifer Dulos case, Fotis Dulos, Draconis and former attorney charged in murder. This is from the Stanford Advocate, and the link is in the description. After more than 7 months since Jennifer Dulos vanished, her estranged husband and his former girlfriend have been charged Tuesday with her murder. Dulos likely suffered a non-survivable injury, according to Connecticut Chief Medical Examiner James R. Gill, as detailed in arrest warrants for Dulos' estranged husband Fotis Dulos and his ex-girlfriend Michelle Draconis. Gill described Dulos' death as a homicide of violence that likely included traumatic blunt force injuries such as bludgeoning and stabbing. The warrant describes Jennifer Dulos being tied up with zip ties at one point during the alleged attack. 4 ties were used, according to the report, and 2 were found in Jennifer Dulos' blood. It appears zip ties were used to secure and incapacitate Jennifer Dulos, the warrant reads. It is reasonable that Jennifer Dulos was alive at the time the zip ties were attached to restrain her movements and to prevent her escape. State police took Fotis Dulos into custody at his Jefferson Crossing home in Farmington on Tuesday morning. Fotis Dulos, 52, was taken to Troop G in Bridgeport, where he was formally charged with capital murder, and kidnapping. Fotis Dulos and Draconis, 44, who was charged with conspiracy to commit murder, have been freed on bail since previous charges with tampering with evidence and hindering prosecution in the May 24th disappearance. Her bond was set at $2 million. Fotis Dulos is being held on a $6 million bond and is expected to be arraigned Wednesday in State Superior Court in Stamford, according to his attorney Norm Pattis. Pattis said he expects his client will post the bond. Pattis said in a paradoxical way, the defense is relieved the murder charge has been filed so that they can see the state's full case. Pattis said the defense has known for several weeks that the murder charge was imminent. Carrie Luft, a spokeswoman for Fotis Dulos, Carrie Luft, a spokeswoman for Jennifer Dulos' family and friends, thanked authorities for their diligent, painstaking work and said, "We believe the arrest warrants will speak for themselves. Although we are relieved that the wait for these charges is over, for us there is no sense of closure," Luft said. "Nothing can bring Jennifer back. We miss her every day and we will forever mourn her loss." The arrest warrants have not been released as of early Tuesday afternoon, but they expected to also include the alleged involvement of Fotis Dulos' former civil attorney, Kent Douglas Mawhinney. Mawhinney, a South Windsor lawyer who represented Fotis Dulos in the $2.5 million lawsuits filed by his mother-in-law, Gloria Faber, is expected to be charged with conspiracy to commit murder in the case. He had previously been charged with violating a protective order in his own divorce. He was accused of having Fotis Dulos contact his estranged wife on his behalf, according to his arrest warrant. Mawhinney was also charged last January with sexual assault in a spousal or cohabitating relationship, second-degree unlawful restraint, and disorderly conduct, according to online state judicial records. Mawhinney's wife alleged that her husband wanted her dead. State police are scouring courthouses in Hartford looking for Mawhinney. Sources said state police detectives showed up in the family court in Hartford looking for him at around 1 p.m. A court clerk looked up information and told him that he was scheduled to be at a civil court case across the street, sources said. The detectives immediately went to the civil court, but were told he had just left. A representative for Mawhinney's office said she heard about his potential arrest on a conspiracy to commit murder and calling the clients that she had scheduled court dates to report that he was having a personal emergency and likely wouldn't make it. The woman had no official word on whether he had been charged, she said. He showed up for work as usual this morning, she said. Soon after Fotis Dulos was originally charged with his own wife's disappearance, Mawhinney requested to be removed as his civil attorney. William Murray replaced Mawhinney and represented Fotis Dulos in the 2-day civil trial last month in Hartford. On Tuesday, Murray said he believed his client is innocent. "I've probably known him since August. I don't think he did it," Murray said. "I think he's innocent. Something weird obviously went on, but I'd be interested in seeing what the arrest warrants say." Murray does not believe the murder charge will impact the lawsuits. "The new arrest shouldn't affect Mr. Dulos' credibility as a witness in the trial," Murray said. Shortly after Fotis Dulos was taken into custody, New Canaan police tweeted, "Justice." Pattis arrived at Dulos' Farmington home about 10 minutes before state police arrived, he said. "A well-placed rumour seemed credible enough for me to come here." Pattis said he was not surprised the state decided to bring the charge. "I will be surprised if they can win it. Mr. Dulos contends he was not involved and I don't think the evidence will show he was." The arrest brought praise from Karen Jarmo, Chief Executive Officer of the Connecticut Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Jennifer Dulos was one in 14 individuals killed by an intimate partner in Connecticut in 2019. "We applaud the arrest of those suspected of involvement in her death and thank all of the law enforcement agencies, federal, state and local, and the state's attorney's office for their diligence in ensuring that these persons are held accountable for their deplorable actions," Jarmo said in a statement. "Foremost, let us all take a moment to remember Jennifer and all of those we have lost to domestic violence. A gaping hole had been left in the lives of her 5 children, her mother, and all of her friends and family. Jennifer loved her children fiercely, and they have been robbed of irreplaceable experiences with her because of someone else's desire to have permanent and absolute control. This trauma will forever impact each of their lives." According to arrest warrants, police believe Fotis Dulos was lying in wait when Jennifer Dulos arrived home from dropping off her children at school in New Canaan about 8:05 May 24th. Lauren Almeida, a childcare employee hired by Jennifer Dulos to look after her children, was interviewed by police during the investigation. She said when she got to Jennifer's home the morning of the alleged attack, she noticed the roll of paper towels near the sink needed to be replaced. She went to the pantry and noticed there were only 2 fresh rolls left, which she found incredibly strange. She had placed 12 new rolls there the night before. I sat there and wondered what had happened last night that the 10 rolls of towel rolls were used. Later in the day, she tried multiple times to reach Jennifer on her phone to no avail. Immediately, my stomach sank, she said. In the almost 7 years that I have worked for Jennifer, I have never ever had a hard time reaching her. She added, my first thought was Fotis did something. Police said 2 people resembling Fotis and his former girlfriend Michelle Troconis were captured on video in Hartford later that night, around the time his estranged wife was reported missing. The man police contend is Fotis Dulos was seen on videos dumping bags that were later determined to contain his wife's blood and clothing, warrants said. A separate arrest warrant said Fotis Dulos and Troconis took a red Toyota Tacoma pickup truck belonging to a 4-group employee to a car wash in the days after the disappearance. Police said in the warrant that they believe Fotis Dulos drove the truck to New Canaan the morning of the disappearance. Fotis also urged the employee to remove the seats, which were later found to contain his wife's blood, according to the warrant. However, Fotis has offered alternative explanations for the disappearance that had led to a gag order being issued in the case. Fotis, who appealed the gag order last month to the state Supreme Court, has said his defense team was investigating whether Jennifer Dulos purposely vanished to get back at her husband, much like the novel Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Fotis has also publicly questioned whether Jennifer Dulos was seriously ill, based on $14,000 worth of medical bills his client received in the months leading up to her disappearance, and suggested she could have perpetrated a revenge suicide plot. So that's an article from the Stanford Advocate, and they have great articles about this case because they are from in the area. So what we know right now is that Fotis Dulos has been arrested and charged with murder and kidnapping of Jennifer Dulos. Troconis has been charged with conspiracy to commit murder, and so has his former attorney. I do have the arrest warrants, and I think we will go over those live tomorrow, which will be 9 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned for those. But I'm just bringing you this breaking news that he has actually been arrested for her murder, which I don't think many of us thought was going to come. And I'm happy that Jennifer will hopefully get justice. It would be lovely if we also knew where her remains were so that they could be brought home to her family, to her mum and to her 5 beautiful children. So we will have more on this tomorrow at 9 p.m. Bye for now.